What's good, boys? So, a lot of people ask this question, and it's why do you even want to get bigger? Like, what drives you to want to get to this size? So, as you guys know, I preach Master's Law, and every time I hear that, I kind of pause for a second because to them, getting big is, it's just muscle. To me, it's everything that muscle represents in a way, right? It's not just about looking good. For me, it's about control. It's about building something when the rest of your life feels like it was falling apart. And my life was really falling apart at the stage that, at this time that I wanted to get big, life was really falling apart because if I had those moments where you wake up and your life just feels like directionless, like you're broke, you're lost, you're fucking angry. And the gym becomes that one place where you can take all of that and you turn it into something, right? And like most people, some people don't have something to build off of and they start the gym. And I started lifting because I was tired of not feeling small, not just physically, bro, but mentally small, emotionally. Like I couldn't stand up for myself at one point. And none of it didn't matter the way I did anything. When I picked up a weight for the first time in my life, I felt like I had like control over something, and the weight doesn't lie to you. Like the weight doesn't lie to you at all. And the bar doesn't care how your day went. It doesn't care who left you, who doubted you, who betrayed you. It's just sitting there waiting. It's like, it's up to you to move it, in a way. And that's why I fell in love with getting big. That's why I fell in love with the gym. The moment I walked in the gym on my 16th birthday, I walked into the gym and I was like, I really want to change things around. And I saw guys online looking better. And I just thought, if I could get better physically, I would get better mentally and emotionally. Because getting bigger wasn't just about chasing numbers on a scale. It was pretty much chasing like an evolution of my past self. It's about seeing how far I can take this body, this machine, and this mind before I kind of broke, right? Before I break down. And because every rep to every meal, to every drop of sweat, it's just me proving to myself that I'm not the same I'm not the same weak version that I used to be, right? And I feel like a lot of you guys feel like that also. And I remember the first time I looked at myself and actually saw the progress, not just the pump, but the moment where you realize you built this, you earned it, and nobody can take it from you. And you hear that so much, and that's pretty much the addiction right there. Like it's pretty much the addiction, right? You get addicted to looking better, feeling better, people complimenting you, and life and essentially when life starts hitting you, you don't really fall, you don't crumble down, you stay strong because you've already forced pain every single day voluntarily. Right? You wake up early, you're forcing down food when you don't feel like it, you train when you're tired, and eventually that becomes your identity. You don't have to make it your identity, but it forms you into such a great person, right? And you build that identity, you start carrying yourself different, people start to treat you differently, you talk different, you stop needing validation because you're putting in the work when nobody else is watching. And that's essentially, this is all coming off the top of my head because I think about this so much, right? And there's also a part of me that's still angry. Now, not in a bad way, but that kind of like quiet anger that sits in your chest, at the world. You're just looking and you get a little bit of anger, but it's not too much, at the cards you were dealt, of what position you were put in. And instead of letting it, eat me alive, I used it as fuel. I used it every time I trained, every time, I felt powerless. I felt like I didn't have a say in anything. Every time someone looked down on me, every time I got rejected, every time I got doubted, every time I got overlooked, that pretty much was fuel, and every pound of muscle on me is like pretty much a fucking middle finger to all of that, bro. And I'm not even saying this in a joking way. I'm saying this in a dead ass kind of way. Like people don't understand that this isn't about like vanity. It's about therapy. It's about self-respect. It's about rewriting, your story that you kind of started with. Because when you first started lifting, at first it's about aesthetics, right? But as you grow, it becomes, dangerous, right? and it's about becoming disciplined, and it's about becoming someone that can't be broken easily. And essentially, after finding that, that's pretty much what I started chasing. Like, I don't really like the aesthetic part of Mass's Law, right? And you guys can kind of tell, and you start realizing that it's not just your body that's growing, it's your mind, right? Your tolerance for discomfort, your patience builds, your hunger for more, and it bleeds into every other aspect of your life / business, like business, relationships, how you carry yourself. Because once you spent the years, turning pain into progress, you realize nothing can stop you anymore, right? That's why I chase size, right? That's why I live this lifestyle. It's not because I need to impress anybody. At the end of the day, I never made any of my social medias to impress anyone. I just made it for the love of the game. I loved it, but it's because I love the man I'm becoming through this entire process. On the outside, I look great. Mentally, I'm building every single day, and I'm becoming resilient to anything that comes into my way, right? When I look back at who I was, the insecure kid, lost, I had no confidence, second guessing pretty much everything, every decision of my life, I realize I'm doing this pretty much for him, and every time I train, it's like I'm giving that kid closure, telling him it's okay, I got you now, in a way, in a kind of like a backstory kind of way, you're safe, I'll handle it from here. Words I wish my fucking dad told me, but he never did, and that's pretty much who I'm doing it for. And I'm going on and on, and it's also for the people watching, the ones that are watching this right now, the ones that feel like they can't change. If you can't change, you're always feeling small, you're feeling small mentally, you're feeling small physically. It's because I used to be that person, bro, and I know how bad it hurts. I know how bad it feels. Like, you'll never escape the version of yourself that you are now to the version of yourself that you want to become, right? And I want to be proof that you can, and that's essentially why I started this YouTube channel. If you look at the description, this is exactly it. And that you can change your body, you can change your confidence, you can change your energy, and you can change your entire life. And if you show up every single day and outlast your emotions, you will become a better version of yourself. And a lot of guys preach, the aesthetic part, but I think Mass really carries that. So yeah, when people ask me what drives me to get bigger, it's everything. It's pain, it's the memories, the discipline, the what was my purpose. And it's that feeling when you look in the mirror and you see not just size, but you see the identity you've built with looking big, right? A version of yourself that can't be broken. I don't do it for no reason. I do it because I refuse to kind of be average. I refuse to be just that average aesthetic, got the sick abs, whatever, flying by through life, making all the money, whatever. I do it because I need to know I gave everything pretty much I had in this life. And if I die tomorrow, I'll know exactly I maxed out every rep, I maxed out to every meal, every chance to become something more than what I'm named or what I was born to be, right? And that's why I chase size, because mass is law. And the reason why I'm saying all this, and I appreciate you watching this video, I'm at work right now. Hopefully we won't be at work for much longer, man. I'm really trying to make it in this YouTube scene, and hopefully I inspire you to take leap. And honestly, you guys got any questions, I have my program in my bio. You guys have access to that. That pretty much has the outline, the guide to this whole entire video, man. And hopefully this clears up the idea of why I wanted to get bigger. And hopefully you guys actually take this and you can apply it to your life, and you can understand that at the end of the day, man, I do this for building a presence, building structure, building respect for myself. And the outside self-image of looking big just reflects on my work ethics, and the way I treat people, and it's just always wanting to push for more. I could get lean, I could get abs, I could be looking aesthetic, I could look super presentable, but I kind of feel like that in a way you're doing that to look good for other people. Building your self-identity is so important, because like you can't copy other people. It's just yourself is your unique self, but you can get guidance from other people, and you can kind of get guided in a great way. So I just want to say, please take what I said in this video. If you guys got any questions, you want to hear anything else, I'm going to do a few more of these talks, probably another one of this, and probably post it the same day. So hopefully this helps you guys, and peace.